Behavior is the activity of living organisms. Human behavior is everything people do. Behavior can be determined by applying the dead man's test. If a dead man can do it, it isn't behavior, and if a dead man can't do it, then it is behavior. Skinner said that everything is behavior and included thinking. Three-term contingency Skinner used to explain human behavior. All behaviors have something that happens before and after. We can recognize and alter behavior by examining the behavior and the consequences. Every time Joe hears his mother say time for dinner, Joe screams and hits his head. His mother hugs him and rubs his back to calm him down. Jim's teacher says time to get your homework out. Jim throws his books on the ground. Jim's teacher lets him take a break for 10 minutes. The teacher says, get your jacket for recess. Anna gets her jacket and stands in line. Her teacher says, good job, Anna. Behaviors may serve two different types of functions, to obtain something desirable and to avoid something undesirable. Under these functions, there are categories. All of the functions and the categories within them involve interactions with the environment or people. To gain access to attention, to gain access to tangible items or activities, to gain access to internal stimulation, to escape or avoid attention, to escape hard tasks, changes in routine, or unpredictably, to escape-avoid internal stimulation that is aversive like itching, hunger. Both undesirable and desirable behaviors are learned and maintained through interaction with the social and physical environment. It is important to think about what may be reinforcing to one child may be aversive to another. A functional behavioral assessment is an assessment that determines the function of behavior and is conducted by trained staff. An FBA serves three functions. It uncovers the function of the purpose underlying the child's behavior. It identifies the relationship between the ecological context and the behaviors. It accumulates in the design of an. Jay's mother says time for dinner. Behavior. Jay screams and hits his head. Consequence. Jay's mom hugs him and rubs his back. Jay screams and hits his head at a high rate every time his mother asks him to come to dinner. Function. Attention in the form of positive social reinforcement. Setting events. Predictors. Medications, medical or physical problems, sleep cycles, eating routines and diet, daily schedule, staffing patterns, and interactions. Time of day, physical setting, people, activity. Two types. Positive, when a behavior is followed immediately by something that increases similar responses in the future. Negative, a behavior produces the termination or removal of something that increases the future occurrence of the behavior. The only way to ascertain if the procedures one is using are reinforcing is if there is an increase in behavior. What is reinforcing for one person may not be for another. A reinforcer must occur during or immediately after the behavior to be increased. Reinforcement must be contingent on behavior. Reinforce frequently while strengthening a new behavior. Hugs, pats on the back, sitting or standing near a person, social praise, earning a sticker or a preferred toy, anything that is given that increases a behavior. Child completed homework all week and is given a pass to use for no homework any night they choose. Child completes a difficult task and earns a break from class for 2 minutes. Child hates lima beans but tries 3 bites and can throw the rest away. Positive, adding something to a behavior that makes a behavior decrease. Negative, removing something that makes a behavior decrease.
The only way to ascertain if one is using a punishment method is if the behavior decreases. Punishment must be delivered at intense levels to permanently decrease behavior. Once it is discontinued, the behavior may spontaneously recover.
3 types. Behavior maintained by positive reinforcement, withhold reinforcer. Behavior maintained by negative reinforcement, withhold reinforcer, prevent escape. Behavior maintained by sensory consequences. Withhold reinforcer equals prevent person from experiencing consequences and teach socially acceptable behavior. Look out for the extinction bursts. Group contingency. Presentation or loss of a reinforcer is contingent upon the behavior of an individual within the group, a segment of the group, the whole group. Group contingencies save time, are equally effective, and can reduce large numbers of disruptive behaviors without individual planning. Sticker charts. Increase positive verbal praise of appropriate behaviors, decrease verbal redirections for negative behaviors. When Julie submits 4 homework assignments, the whole class gets to have a party on Friday. When Julie submits 4 homework assignments, she gets to participate in the party on Friday. All members of Julie's group submit 4 assignments. Julie and all members of her group earn a party. All members but Julie submit 4 assignments. No one in the group earns a party. Julie does all her homework at home without exhibiting unwanted behaviors for 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 days. She can earn a special treat. Good behavior game. 2 or more teams, whoever gets lower points, reward for class. Good student game. Student self-manages. Self-check off sheet at end of each period that teacher reviews for accuracy. Hero procedure. An individual earns a reward for the whole group and becomes a hero to the group. Behavior contracts with individual student-children. Set up a signal for behaviors, transitions, and when the behaviors need to reel them. In my room, we use the phrase everybody to let the class know there is a group instruction coming. We also use a hand up and point to the palm to let children know to wait when they interrupt. It was written on my hand for a few weeks until they understood the signal. What are some techniques you use in your room or home? Give me 5. Extend 5 fingers out on your outstretched arm. This means 2 eyes watching, 2 ears listening, and 1 mouth closed. The student will usually give the high five gesture back and begin paying attention. Music. Play calming music throughout the day in the classroom. Studies have suggested that calming music without vocals helps relieve stress. Mood, classical, or instrumental music may be tried to lead, which is most effective for your students. Give each student his or her own small water bottle. This may be allowed to refill it throughout the day as needed. This helps keep the students hydrated, which results in increased mental alertness. Remember this, what we see depends mainly on what we look for.